Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the part 5 of building a JavaScript application. And in today's video, we will cover functions, the big and scary JavaScript functions. Alright, so let's go back to our file that we left from the previous video. And in here, I'm gonna start giving an actual application, like a real example of when should we start using functions. Let's say, for example, that we want to target this navigation bar here on the top and change the color of it. So we go in here to our JavaScript file. Now, like I said in the previous video, I'm just basically using jQuery because it's just easier, and I told that, I was saying that in the comments, if you guys want me to still put both examples like vanilla JavaScript and jQuery, but since still no one replied to that, I don't know, I think it's just easier to use jQuery. But if you guys really want for me to always do the both examples like vanilla JavaScript and jQuery, just let me know in the comments down below, because only with your feedback, guys, I can improve the quality of these videos and these tutorials. So yeah, let's go back to these now, and I'm gonna target this, like I said, this navigation bar, and I'm gonna change its color. So I'm gonna target this nav, and I'm gonna access the CSS, and I'm going for the background color, and I'm gonna put the background color, let's say, for example, now red. I'm gonna refresh the page, and there you go. Now the navigation bar is red. So I'm just giving you an example when we should use functions. Yeah, let's say, for example, now that we also want to target the About Me section and change its color for, let's say, orange. We go in here, and I'm going to put this back in here, and I'm going to target the About Me section, About Me, and change the background color to blue. Let's refresh, and there you go. Now we access this navigation bar on the top, we change the background color to red, and the About Me section, we change the background color to blue. So as you can see, both of these codes that we have in here, they are exactly the same. The only thing different is that we are changing the selector is different. In here we are selecting the navigation bar, and in here we are selecting the About Me section. And in here, what is different is only the color that we are choosing. So imagine that you were targeting 4, 5, 6, 7 different sections. Yeah, you would have the same code, like repeating all over again. So what can we do to minimize this code? We can actually do a function. So I'm going to put in here, to do a function, we just have to write down function. And after, we can put the name of the function. I could call my function now, for example, color change. Notice that I'm using what is called the camel casing. After one word, I put the other one capitalized, so you can see like the difference. So color change, and then you put parentheses and curly braces, and there you go. In here we have a function. Now, for a function to run, you have to put something there inside. I want, just to make sure that the function is running, I'm going to put in here a console.log, and I'm going to put this function is working. Semicolon in the end. I'm going to save it. And so, as you can see, I put a console.log that should be on our console in the browser. It should be there, this sentence in here that we just created. Let's just refresh the page. Let me right click on the page, inspect, or you can just press the F12 to go to the developer tools. Let's go to the console in here, and nothing is showing, only this Telmo Sampaio that we have on the line 79. Let me just get rid of this. Line 79, yeah. And just comment this out, and it shouldn't be there now. Yeah. So as you can see, we started this function but actually it's not working. That's because when you are writing down a function, when the browser is reading, let's say you are loading the page, the browser is loading the page, he goes here from the top, he's reading, and gets here to this part of this function, is reading the function, but is actually not doing anything, it's just like storing it in memory. So for it to work, you would have to call the what's called calling the function. Calling the function, it's like saying to the browser, hey browser, I have this function, I'm calling it and I want you to execute it now. So for that, we can just put the name of the function, color change, and oops, and semicolon in the end. So just like this, by putting the same name and these two parentheses, and you put the semicolon in the end as usual, it tells the browser, okay, now you need to run this function. Let's refresh the page, and now you have in here, this function is working. Okay, so something that I want you to understand is, like I said, whenever the browser is reading here from the top, and it gets to this part, oh, I'm reading this function, but it's not doing anything, it's just storing it in memory. So when we reach in here, it says, oh, I have a color change, I'm calling a function in here, color change. Is there any color change function in the page? The browser is going to look straight away, it's going to stop everything and it's going to look for this function. Oh, it's just before, so let's run this function. So what I mean with this is we could actually put this code just before the function in here, let's say for example in here on the top, and when the browser is loading, look, I'm going to refresh the page, it's still working, yeah? And oops, so when the page is loading, the browser is coming in here, is reading everything, is executing the code, and it comes to this point. Oh, I'm calling the function color change. Is there any function in this file with the name color change? It's going to look all over the page, it's going to stop whatever it's doing. Oh, I found one in here. So it's going to execute it right now. So this is how it works with calling the actual function to work. So it's just like a best practice, you know, for you to first declare the function. It's called declare when you are using the function in there, and then calling it after, because you know that you already built the function. Okay, so we know that this function is working. So now I'm just going to cover something that it's called local variables and global variables. This is very important because if you're going, for example, for interview, you know, for a front-end web developer position or something, probably they will ask you about this, about what is a local variable, what is a global variable. So basically in here, if I'm going to create a variable, let's say in here, I'm going to put this text, this function is working. I'm going to put in here var my. So I'm creating a variable inside of this function called variable my name. And I'm going to put in here double quotes because this is a string. And I'm going to put Telmo. Oh, I'm going to put JavaScript. I'm putting Telmo, my name, in everything. JavaScript, okay? So I put in here var my language. Yeah, I'm going to put var my language equals to JavaScript. I'm going to put in here now, this is a tutorial on, and I'm going to put a space. I'm going to put plus Java, no, my language is the name of the variable, my language. I need to put here some space. Yeah, so it's going to write down, this is a tutorial on, plus, this is the concatenating, my language. Where is this variable? Just in here. So it's going to replace my language in here with this bit. So let's refresh the page. This is a tutorial on JavaScript. But now I'm talking about the local and global variables. if I try to do a console.log, for example, console.log, outside of the function, it means that I'm trying to reach this variable, and I'm going to put exactly the same. I'm going to copy this exactly. So I'm putting a console.log saying this is a tutorial on, and then plus this variable. But notice that this variable only exists inside of this function. So right now, since we have two console.logs, we should see it on the browser. Let's see it if it happens. Look, the first one, it runs because this is the one that is inside of the function. But the second one, it says uncaught reference error. My language is not defined. What does this mean is that whenever you are trying to use a variable that is inside of a function, this variable now in here is only exists inside of this function. If you try to access it from outside, it doesn't exist. It only exists inside. So I'm going to put in here local variable. So it's a really good practice whenever you are creating variables for whatever reason. You should use them inside of a function. This is like the best practice, and you're going to understand right now why. So this is a local variable because it's inside of a function. But now, if you create a variable outside of the function, let's say I'm going to create it as well, the same name, var my language, and I'm going to put in here equals to, let's say I'm going to put Python. Okay, so now we have in here a variable called my language equals to Python. So this is a global variable because it's outside of everything, it's not inside of any function. So I'm going to put in here global variable, and let's say, okay, when the browser is reading through our JavaScript file, we're going to start in here from the top. Is reading, is executing all the code, is going to get in here. Okay, I have a var my language equals to Python. Okay, it stored this in memory, and then we have a function in here, function color change. The browser is not doing anything with this function. It's just saying, okay, there is a function in here. I know it's there, but I'm just going to keep it in there. And then it's going to get in here. Okay, color change. The browser stops in here because we are calling a function. Is there any color change function in the file? Let's look for it. Oh, here it is. So the browser is now going to execute this code. Now it's going to execute this code, and it's going to say, okay, var my language equals to JavaScript, and then we do this console.log. This is a tutorial on plus, this is the concatenating my language equals to JavaScript. So we should see on the console this, and then okay, we finish this function. Now the browser keeps on where it left. In here we left this before, and now it keeps reading the page. Oh, now I have another console.log. This is a tutorial on plus my language. Where is the variable my language? Because this one in here only exists inside of this function. Is going to look, is there any other my language? Oh, there is one here just before. It's called Python. So now if you refresh the page, this is a tutorial on JavaScript. So this one in here is inside of our function, and this is a tutorial on Python. This is our global variable. So I hope you guys could understand this, like the difference like between a global variable and a local variable. And now I'm going to tell you something else. Let's say I'm going to remove this variable from here, this local variable. Whenever the browser now is executing this function that we have in here, it's going to do console.log. This is a tutorial on plus my language. This is a variable. Yeah. is going to say, wow, there is no variable called my language inside of this function. I'm going to give an error now. No. So what JavaScript is going to do is, if there is no variable with this name inside of this function, he's going to go, okay, let's go one step up of this function. So he's going to go outside of the function, and he's going to say, is there any actual variable called my language? And he's going outside of the function. Oh, there is one here. So he's going to actually use this variable that we put in here. That's why the global variable can be accessed from everywhere, and the local variable can only be used inside of the actual function. So let's run the script again. Now this is saying, this is a tutorial on Python. This is this code that is running from here, from this function. And then we have this in here that is actually running from this console.log, as you can see. So I'm going to explain one more time. The browser, whenever you are loading the page, the browser is reading through your JavaScript file, is reading, executing the code, and is going to get in here, okay, I have a variable called my language equals to Python. This is, like I said, a global variable because it's outside of any function. Is just set on what's it called, the global scope. And it's going to have a function in here. Okay, there is a function. The browser is just like, we have a function in here, it's not doing anything. And then it's going to grab, okay, there is a call for a function, and this function is called color change. Let's go and look for it. It's going to look, oh, there is a function in here, color change. Let's execute it. Inside, there is a console.log. It's going to put, this is a tutorial on plus my language, the variable. But there is no my language inside of here. Okay, so let's go outside of this function to see if there is anywhere a variable called my language. And the browser goes and look everywhere. Oh, there is a var my language in here, Python. So this is what is going to execute in here. Okay, now the function is finished because we already execute what was inside, and the browser is going to go back to where it left. So we left in here. It's going to continue to read all the code, and it's going, okay, now this is the next line that I should read. Console.log, this is a tutorial on my language. Is there any my language variable? Yeah, it's just here on the top. So basically, that's why we can see in here 2 times Python and Python in here. So I hope you guys understand like now the difference between a global variable and a local variable that only exists and work inside of an actual function. Yeah, if you guys still, I know it might sound a bit confusing at the beginning, but if you guys still have any doubts or questions, just let me know in the comments down below, because I always answer to all of your questions. And yeah, this is just like my first tutorial on functions actually. So yeah, I will do more probably. So yeah, yeah, okay. So let's go back to our code that I was doing in here in the beginning, that I said that we were repeating all the time. Let's just like get rid of these, and let's get rid of these. And let's put now this inside of the function. So like I said, in here in the beginning, when we were targeting both the navigation bar and the about me section, we were like repeating the same code all over again, you know. So we don't want that. So let's just put one of these inside. And now I'm going to introduce something that it's called the parameters and the arguments. So the parameters and the arguments, I'm going to put in here and give an example. I'm going to put in here, so my element, I'm just going to put this camel case, my element, and in here I'm going to put my color. You can put whatever names you want, and you can put as many parameters as you want. I'm going to put in here a comment on the top so you guys knows that parameters. What we call parameters is all the values that we put in here inside of this function. So I put in here, for example, two parameters, my element and my color. But I could put, for example, my height. I could put whatever, you know, how many you want. So, and between them, you just have to put a comma to separate them. So I put this in here, my element and my color. So in here now, I'm going to put, okay, this is going to be my element, and in here, instead of red, I'm going to put my color. Just going to put this with a camel case so it looks better. My color. So right now, what we have to do is, whenever we are calling the function, in here now, when you're going to call the function, this is what you are calling the arguments. And I'm going to put in here, for example, for the first one is the nav. I'm putting this between double quotes because it's like a string, you know. It's the same like if I was going to put in here nav, you see, with double quotes. So let me just put back to what it was, my element. So I'm going to put in here the first one, nav, and the second one, now I want it to be yellow. So I'm going to put yellow, okay? Right, okay, let's recap this now. I'm going to imagine now you are I'm going to just refresh the page so you guys can see. Let's say that the browser is reading through all of your JavaScript file, is executing this, and is going to get in here. Now let me just like put this before so you guys don't find it confusing. I could put this in here now, for example. Let me just put this back. Right. So the browser is reading through your file. It gets in here. Okay. I have a calling for a function called color change. And inside of this function, I'm putting two arguments. Whenever you are calling a function and you are putting these values, these two values, they are called arguments. So whatever you put inside, they are called arguments, yeah? So I put for the first value nav, and for the second value, I put yellow. Okay, I'm calling this function, and now the browser, okay, I'm calling this function. Let me go and look on the file, where is this function? Oh, it's just right after it, so I'm gonna run this function. So this function has a parameters. This is the parameters when you are putting the actual function. And I'm going to say, okay, I have my element in here on the page. But when I'm calling the function, I'm giving it a value of nav. So basically now I'm replacing this, I'm putting this value in here and replacing it in here, my element. So the function is go, okay, let me look for any my element that I put on the page, and let's replace it with nav. So basically, what the browser is doing is like this: is grabbing this and is putting this in here. Oh, we are replacing this in here, and now is there any my element inside? Let's replace it. Bam! It replaced this. This is what the browser is doing on the back end, you know. And now, okay, we have a second value, and we are giving it a value of yellow. And what the browser is doing, okay, let's go for the function. The second value is called my color, okay. And I'm going to put this value in here. This is what the browser is doing on the background. Where was this my color again? Oh, it's in here. Let's give it this value. And this is what's going to make that this navigation bar, it's going to be displaying yellow. So let me just like recap this again. So this is how it is. You call the function, you give it the first value, nav, and whenever we are going in here to the function, is going to replace the first value with nav, and then say, okay, any my element inside? Here it is, my element. I'm going to put in here nav. And then second value, we are giving it a value of yellow. So my color is the second value in here, and oh, is there any my color inside? There it is. And it's going to replace it. So now you are telling me, oh Telmo, but now we want to do this for a second element. So for that, you just have to run calling the function another time. So color change, you call the function again, color change, and the first element now we want to target is about me section. For that, I'm going to put about me for the first value, which is our target element. And the second one, I'm going to put, let's say now, orange. Let's put a semicolon and refresh the page. Look, now it's orange. Let's give it another one. Let's say light blue. Light. I'm not sure if it's like this, or maybe is it light blue? I'm not sure now. Yeah, it's light blue. Okay, so as you can see, basically now you don't have to repeat this code all over again. Imagine that you would have more things now. For example, you want to change the height, or you wanted to change the width or anything. You could just put inside in here of the function, and after when you are calling it, you just put a different value. That's why functions, they are so important. And yeah, basically that's it for function, guys. I'm just gonna tell you now something about a click function that is very important, and probably I think this is going to be the last tutorial before I actually start diving into the project that we started in the that I was showing on the first video. So now I'm going to do a click function. This is very important because I actually had to do these kind of thing when on my first interview for a front-end web developer position. So let's go for, let's say for example that we want to click on this button and to make something happen. I'm actually gonna do the same. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it the same like I did in my interview, so you guys can see what they can ask you. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do select. I'm going to select this button in here. So this button in here has a class of btn work. So I'm going to select it, btn work. So this is how I select that button. And then I'm going to put .css. No, not .css. I want .click. So this is what's going to happen. I'm selecting this button with this jQuery, and then I'm going to put it a method called .click. It means that we are going to use a click event on it, and inside of this click, let me just put this down here. I'm going to put a function. I'm going to put a function, and in this function in here, what I'm going to put is I'm going to access this color, and I'm going to put I'm going to access the nav and .css background color, and I'm going to put it no, I'm not going to do background color now. I'm going to do, for example, a height. I'm going to do something different, you know. I'm going to put height 300 pixels, just to do something different, you know, to not be background colors all the time. Right. Oh, first, before this, I forgot to put this. Before this, putting this, let's do a console.log. I put a comment in here, so this code is not working. I just put this // as you can see. So as you can see, this code is commented out, so it's not going to work. So what I'm doing in here when I'm doing this console.log is I'm going to put this button is working. This is just to make sure that whenever we click the button, it's actually working. You know, that we are accessing the button correctly. Let's just like refresh. let's see our console. I'm gonna click it, and there you go. We have this button is working. So it means that we did everything correctly, because sometimes when we are actually in building a project or something, we are not accessing or doing the click event correctly, and we are like, why is this not working? Sometimes it can be because we are just like not putting correctly the name of the button or something, and it could be just like some small letter that is like in the wrong place or something, and we're like, oh, why is this not working or something. So this is just like an easier way to make sure that the click event is working. Right, so we know that this is working, so we can take this off. And now let's just uncomment this out. So now if we click the button, it should increase the height of this navigation bar to 300 pixels. Let's refresh the page. I'm going to click this, and look, now it's 300 pixels, just as we wanted. Okay, or we could, for example, let's say, let's target this one in here, our logo, class logo. I could go in here and I'm gonna target the logo, and I want the text to be user.name. So now, for example, when I'm running this code, clicking in here, it should change this Telmo Sampaio to user.name. Let's refresh the page. If I click in here, user.name, you see, this is a really good thing when you want to create events that you are clicking on a button and something else happens, you know. Yeah, so basically that's it, you know. I'm gonna do something in here. In my first interview for a front-end developer position, they asked me to do this. They asked me to click a button and highlight in an unordered list like this one, to highlight, for example, the third one, to give it a background color of orange. So for that, let's do this. I'm going to click this button now, this time. So this button, it's called, it's inside of the UL skills A, okay? So it was the UL skills. Let me see if this is correct. Oh, my skills. My skills. And it's the anchor inside. Okay, so that's fine. And we do a click function. And what we want to do is select this third one. So this is not plus, I should put plus, because plus, it means that it's right next to it. So it's not inside. I was putting it inside, but it's right next to it. That's why I put the plus. So now I want the li, this one, the third one. I want to target these my skills, and I want to the li nth, I think it's like this, nth3 child. This is targeting with CSS. I don't remember now how is. You see, not even me that I work with this every day. Sometimes I don't remember. I'm just going to put in here CSS nth child. Okay, so it's like this. So we go in here, and I'm going to put. This is the third child, because I'm accessing this third child of. Let me just like recap in here so you guys know what I'm doing. I'm selecting right now in here my skills, which is this unordered list, and I'm selecting the anchor after, which is this one. As you can see, is right next to it. That's why I'm using this plus that we have in here. This is a CSS selector, guys. It doesn't have to do anything with JavaScript. So I'm selecting basically, oops, I opened this one by mistake. I'm selecting this anchor in here, and then I'm putting a click function on it, And whenever we click it, what we can do, I'm selecting my skills, an ordered list, this one in here, and I'm selecting the third child. This is the one. So for that, I use the CSS selector. If you guys want some tutorials on CSS selectors, let me know in the comments down below, because I can do that as well. So I'm doing li and then comma, not comma, colon, nth child, the third one, and I'm gonna put CSS, and I'm gonna put the background color. I'm gonna put red. Let's say if this is working now. Let's refresh the page. Click. Oh, okay. So that is not working because where is it? My skills. Let me just do a quick search. My skills. Where is it? I'm a bit lost in here. What's the name? My skills. Okay, let me go and look for it. Oh, this is this is being added by JavaScript, the tutorial that we did before. That's why it's not on the actual that's why it's not on the actual but this one it is. Hire me now. Okay. Hire me. Where is that? I think I'm just doing this in here somewhere. Hire me. Where is it? Hire. Okay. I need to go and look for it in here. So hire is not in here. Mark hero first. Where is these skills that we were doing before? Yeah, it should be in here. If I go to the about me, because this was not the file. Okay, this was not the file. Let me go in here, index. Yeah, now it should be in here. Right. I'm gonna just put a hash in here because we are not doing anything. That's why it was not working. Hire me now. Let's refresh. If I click in here, let me see if this is working, because something is not correct in here. What's different from here, from there? Hire me. Let's refresh. Something is not working, but we are gonna fix it now. Let's just do a console.log. Console.log. It's working. Let's refresh. Not sure why this is not working in here. Let's give it a class. Let's give it a class of my button. Not sure why this is not working, but let's go for it. So now I'm going to select these my button. Let's refresh. Still, what's not working? My skills. Oh, right. Because it's my skills in here. I was putting with a lowercase. Yeah, now it's working. You see, sometimes because we are just putting something, it was just like with a lowercase instead of a bigger case like this. So as you can see, now, whenever I press, look, is targeting the third element in here and putting the background color to red. So basically that's it, guys, for this tutorial. I hope you could understand a little bit about functions, and if you still have any questions about it, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to answer the questions as fast as I can, and I hope you find this tutorial useful. In the next video, we should actually jump on the actual project that I'm going to be building to show you, like, whatever. You can put even this on your portfolio, guys, this kind of a project, because it really shows that you can use JavaScript and jQuery, you know. And that's it. So I hope you like this video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.